Hi, this is Mark Leapart here. Continuing on with the BigFix Foundation session. In this session, I will be covering BigFix web reports, overview, and the configuration. Let's get started. So, topics for today's session is the overview of the BigFix web reports, where to find some cool reports at, and how do you enable importing of reports. So, BigFix Web Reports is typically installed when you install BigFix, and by default, it's going to use port 8083. So, whatever your host name is, and port 8083. And when you first log on, you're prompted to create an initial Web Reports administrator. So, go ahead and do that. And then you can log on to Web Reports. And once you're logged on, let's go through an overview of what we're looking at here. So back here, the back screen is the default, and what you see will depend on what you own. This is pretty much for people who own Patch and or Lifecycle Starter Kit. You'll see Patch Management, you'll see Systems Lifecycle. Everybody gets BigFix Management. You have your authored and then your starred views. Anytime you click on Web Reports, it'll always take you back to this main screen. You can set preferences up here in the upper right-hand corner. When you're looking at Web Reports, when you drill into actually looking at the Report tab here, then you're going to see whatever reports that are there, and anything typically is going to be, it's always going to be by the domain that it belongs to. Exploring data. So you can do all sorts of stuff with just exploring data. When you click on the Explore Data tab, by default, it's going to give you computer information, and you can edit these columns down here. So you can add additional columns, take away columns you don't want to see. Remember that anytime you put data in BigFix and you've been collecting that data, you can use Web Reports to pull that data out. Filters are the main blood of Web Reports. You can share filters, you can create filters to be reused with other members of your teams. Administrating Web Reports. You do have to add users to Web Reports. Just because you added a user to your BigFix console has nothing to do with what you're going to see in Web Reports. Remember, Web Reports is read-only, and like BigFix, you can integrate your LDAP or AD with Web Reports. So I would strongly recommend that you take a look at that and integrate those two. Data sources. Data sources are where BigFix will pull the data from, where BigFix Web Reports will pull the data from your BigFix server. This also means that a single web report server can handle multiple BigFix installations. So if you have a production BigFix, you have a development BigFix, you have a test BigFix, you can set up one web report instance and get data from all three of those environments. Cool reports. Where can we find cool reports? Well, if you go to the wiki, and here are 3 examples of reports that are available out there. They do all have their own rules and regulations on how you need to install them. So please read that. There's an example of one of the reports. You get to see a nice little graph with some good information, and go check these out. Go download them and bring them into your environment. Strongly recommend them. out of the box, BigFix does not allow you to just import reports into web reports. You have to do a little bit of setup. So there is 2 registry keys on a Windows box that you need to modify. And there are some settings on a Linux box you need to modify. But for the majority of people, this registry keys are the 2 that you need to change from 0 to 1. And as you can see in the example here, diagram 1, you see in the red box that's blank. And after I've done the change to the registry, now we have the ability to import. So we can see that here. To import a report, it's pretty simple. You click on Import Report, point your browser to wherever the file is, and it's primarily going to be in a BES WRPT or a web report, or it could be an OJO or a BES report, but for the most part, it's going to be an XML. And you can change the visibility from public or private, and click Import, and off it goes. That covers the topic for web reports today. Thank you very much.